All right, guys, we are back. So Tuesday, we are continuing with our study sync skill on plot, and we're going to be looking again from the lens of Little Women. Remember the background behind me? That is for the newest version of Little Women. Little Women's been done several times, movies, plays, TV series, and so this is the newest one. So I do encourage you guys, check those out. Might give you a little bit better understanding of the story, but you don't need to check them out to kind of follow along with what we're doing. So yesterday, on Monday, we just looked at the definition basically and saw, the two students talking just about what plot is. And today we're going to look at part of the model. Okay, so again, we're breaking these up, doing it in parts. So let me go ahead and share the screen with you. All right, so here we are, you guys. We are on the model part of plot in the middle. So what I'd like you to do now is to pause this video. I want you to press play and watch the students talking about this section. I know they're a little corny, but just go ahead, listen to them, and I want you to pay attention to the academic language that they use, okay? Listen to what they say about the different characters. It's gonna just help you a lot trying to understand the story some more, and it will help us when we do the model as well. So go ahead and press pause, listen to the students talk, and then come back to this video, okay? I'll let you do that now. All right, you guys, welcome back. Let's continue on. So now we are looking at identification and application of the model. I tried to play it. I did this recording once and tried to play this part, but you can't hear it, so I'm gonna have to read it to you, okay? But you can follow along with me as we read, or you can just play it on your own, because remember, it has the audio part. So go ahead and make sure you hit numbers. Boom. You got your annotations up. We are going to annotate a little bit, so get ready for that, and then we have the audio. So we have plot is the series of events or episodes that take place in a story. Let's go ahead and annotate that, you guys. Going to annotate this first one just because it gives us what the definition of the plot is. I'm not going to put a note here. Well, put this is what the plot is. Okay, and let's go ahead and put that. This is what the plot is. Okay, so the plot, again, is a series of events or episodes that take place in a story. Let's create our note. Okay, almost every plot begins with a problem or a set of problems that characters, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, guys, let's try that again. Almost every plot begins with a problem or a set of problems that characters have to solve. I'm going to highlight that because we've talked about this. This is important. Okay, basically every story, you guys, you have to have a problem that the character's trying to solve, an adventure, something, or else you don't really have a story. It says, as you read, look for cause and effect relationships between characters and events as the plot moves forward. I really like to talk about The Outsiders. When I taught 7th grade, I love The Outsiders. We did it every year. I'm sure most of you have read The Outsiders. So think about when Johnny and Ponyboy are in the park, right? And they end up stabbing one of the Socs, and they have to go on the run. So them stabbing the Soc caused them to then go on the run, and they had to get Dally to help them escape. Remember, they escaped to the church, and just as events kind of go forward, what ends up happening? Well, they end up lighting the church on fire, and Johnny ends up, saving the kids and getting us back broken. None of that would have happened if they hadn't killed the Soc in the first place. So it's one event that leads to another event that leads to another event. And that's the cause and effect relationship, okay? How one event causes another event. So the stabbing of the Soc, in a way, ended up causing the church to burn down, but that ended up Johnny being a hero because he saved the kids. So everything kind of connects together, okay? So as you go forward, pay attention to that cause and effect. It's going to be a little bit harder in our Little Women story because it's just a part, it's an excerpt. So still try your best, though, to pay attention to that cause and effect. Okay, notice how dialogue creates action as characters reveal information or learn something they didn't know. Dialogue can also uncover how characters change as the plot moves forward. That's the second part I want to underline or annotate. Dialogue can also uncover how characters change as the plot moves forward. Remember, most characters do change at some point in the story, so you want to pay attention to that. Okay, next one. Analyze how particular lines of a dialogue or specific incidents in a story propel the action forward, reveal aspects of a character, or provoke a decision. As you read, ask yourself, why might this incident be a turning point in the plot? What does this exchange between two characters reveal about each one that might help or delay finding a solution to the problem? Okay, so again, back to The Outsiders. You know, when they're in the church, they do a lot of talking with each other, and Ponyboy really gets to kind of find out a little bit more about Johnny through that dialogue. So it's that dialogue that reveals parts of a character. Also, the incidents. Why might this incident be a turning point in the plot? So again, with the stabbing, that stabbing was a huge turning point in the plot. Everything had to change after that time. So those are those big events where something happens and everything changes in the story, okay? It's kind of like in Hunger Games at the very beginning, right? What's the problem? The problem is all these kids are their names are being picked one by one to go into the Hunger Game atmosphere, go into, you know, fighting with the other kids. So Katniss' name doesn't get pulled, Prim's name gets pulled. So what is then that event right there changes everything, because once Prim name gets pulled, now Katniss has to volunteer. Once Katniss volunteers, things change. So again, look for those little moments in stories where the entire story kind of gets propelled because of one thing that happened. Okay? All right. Where were we? Okay, we did that one. Next one. Examine how particular elements of a story, such as setting, can shape and affect the plot, as well as other aspects of the story, such as a character's actions. I want to highlight the setting, okay? Because you guys, the setting is going to determine kind of what kind of story we're going to be reading. So think about I Survived 9/11. Where did he go when he skipped school? You guys remember? He went to New York City to find, you know, to go to the firehouse. And if he hadn't gone to New York City, none of that story really would have happened. It wouldn't have unfolded. He never would have been there. So the setting affects the story. You have to have that. Imagine if we're reading a story and there's a blizzard coming, and now these people have to, you know, survive the blizzard. Well, that's going to really affect what happens in the story. So those things just kind of pay attention to, all right? How the setting affects the story. All right, how it affects the plot, I should say. All right, so last one, you guys. Look for the turning point in the story that leads to a resolution of the problem. So we're going to kind of see that happen more at the climax and the falling action, where we get the resolution to the issue. All right, so look for those points. This story has the same thing. We're going to look more at Little Women tomorrow when we go down to the model, and we'll be looking at these points in this model. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop now. You should have just followed along with what we're talking about. Annotate a little bit here. Watch the kids talking about the video, and tomorrow we will finish up with looking at Little Women, how it applies to these aspects. All right, you guys, great job again. I know we're breaking it down one by one, but hopefully that helps. So keep up the good work. Make sure you're doing your diary. Make sure you guys are reading every day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.